Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And well, it's happened again, hasn't it? The Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, all of them selling out once again. Brave Sir Malcolm, like a character out of the Holy Grail, bravely turned his tail and fled. This is the man, the cowering, craven capitulation to the carbon-captured members of his own party room. He's given up on the very things he said in this chamber. We were all here, weren't we? We watched that speech he gave, backing in Labor's climate change and renewable energy policy, crossing the floor to vote for it. Where are those days now? Where is this hollow man? And we've been discussing, of course, the effect of this neg on the market and on renewable energy and on climate change. Well, this Prime Minister and this policy is the biggest threat to the Snowy 2 project that they've touted as their great vision, which in fact we know wasn't. It was just a project that Malcolm photobombed that had been well in train by the Snowy Hydro Corporation well before he discovered it. They'd put in their feasibility funding application to ARENA, the body they tried to destroy, in February last year, before Malcolm turned up in March. And of course, the Snowy 2 project will be funded from their own money and from private investment, not from a cent from this government. Now, that's a critical factor, Mr Deputy Speaker, private investment. Now, one of the most important factors of the Snowy 2 project was that a market and economic feasibility study was conducted by Marsden Jacobs Associate. Now, that report tells you everything you need to know about the way the market needs to go and about the relevance of Snowy 2. That report this government tried to bury. They told Snowy Hydro, don't put that out there for God's sake. Please don't do it. And that's been confirmed by Snowy Hydro. They've said their shareholder asked them not to put it out there. Well, eventually Snowy Hydro did anyway, because they had to. Why? Because their investors need to know this information. And that decision that's going to be made in December will be affected by the factors spelled out in this report. Now, a couple of the very important ones, and here it is, Mr Deputy Speaker. This is it. It exists on the Snowy Hydro website. None of these guys have read it, and I think this is the greatest advertisement for the need for more investment in education, because these guys didn't read the Finkel report and they haven't read any of this, and some journalists need to have a closer look at this too. But what you'll see spelled out in there when they talk about the economics, and they point out that the long-term commitment on renewable energy makes the Snowy 2 project feasible economically. It gives it its greatest economic and market impact. And what is the long-term commitment that is spelled out in this report? Page 4, there it is. That long-term commitment is a target of 60% renewable generation by 2040. There it is in black and white, which matches, oh, by the way, perfectly with Labor's renewable energy target trajectory. So it is an ambitious renewable energy target that makes Snowy 2 viable. That is the way it will work in relation to the market, by providing the firming to that transition to 100% renewables. So any attempt to slow down that transition to renewables or to reintroduce coal-fired power will threaten the viability of it. And we know that because the CEO of Snowy Hydro and their Chief Operating Officer have told us that. Paul Broad said that, from our perspective, new coal doesn't stack up. We'll outcompete them on price and reliability. We can outcompete a new heli plant. And Snowy 2 only stacks up when more coal power exits the market. The amount of coal baseload that comes out of the market determines the viability of Snowy 2. And of course, that's been backed up by other experts out there, including David Carland, an energy finance specialist, who said that the government has a choice, and this is really what underpinned my question today. The development of a major new coal-fired power station will destroy the viability of Snowy 2. The federal government needs to make a choice. Does it want Snowy 2 or does it want a major new coal-fired power station? And everything in this report, this Marsden Jacobs report, underlines that coal is dead as a future source of power. It will gradually phase out. It spells out the timelines for the major power stations that will die. But it also says that carbon capture and storage and these technologies they tout are not sustainable for the future of the market. And in fact, they say this technology is not yet commercially deployed and is unlikely to be viable without a significant price on carbon. This technology has not been proven on a commercial or large scale, its costs are not known, and it is considered unlikely that it will be commercially viable until well into the 2030s.
I thank the member. His time has expired.